Hi, this is Gypsy Spirit, and welcome to part 3 of tarot reading, learning to read tarot. So the cards that we're going to look at are the Lover's card. We're still all working on the major arcana cards. So we're going to look at 6 of them in this segment. And it's going to be the Lover's card, the Chariot card, Strength card, the Hermit card, and the Wheel of Fortune. So let's go ahead and get started with the Lover's card. When I see the Lover's card, now you also have to remember that you have to use your intuition, and it also depends a lot on the actual reading, who you're reading for, and look at the rest of the cards and put the puzzle together. But I look at the Lover's card a lot of times, not so much as somebody meeting their soulmate, but finding themselves, finding that true love, that self-love within themselves. But it can also mean that you that they have found a soulmate or a kindred spirit, that either on a romantic level or friendship, that they have a meeting of the minds, they have a lot in common. And this could be a new journey for them to take together. Is the journey going to last? How long is it going to last? That depends on your reading. And again, it also tells me that they've grown enough within themselves to be ready for this new relationship. So it pretty much speaks for itself. A lot of people, when I read this card and I see the Lovers, they get excited because they think they're going to meet somebody, like their husband, their future spouse or whatever. And yes, like I said, that it can mean that. But it also can mean that you're finding who you really are. They are finding who they really are and stepping in their own power and their own truth and becoming comfortable in their own skin. I know that there was a period in my life, I don't know about anybody else, but I can speak for myself. There was a period in my life that I didn't like myself. And I'm sure I put out that energy, and so the Lover's card, if somebody was doing a reading for me and that card came up, I would feel that it was more about me learning to love myself and who I am, and being grounded with myself. So let's go on to the next card, the Chariot. This is a very interesting card. So the Chariot, you're going to see, now I don't see it in the Alice in Wonderland deck. And it's kind of hard for me to read this card. I mean, I understand it as I look at it, but when I first got these cards, I didn't understand it. But if you're using the Rider-Waite or usually other cards, it's somebody riding a chariot, and there's a black horse and a white horse, and the black horse is kind of steering away a little bit. So, but I'll show you this card, the Alice in Wonderland card. And I understand now, after examining these cards for many years now, what this really means. The significance of Alice putting her foot on the gopher. So we have habits and thoughts, behaviors, things that we do that maybe not in our best interest. And the story that I like to use is relationships. Like, I am like the worst, like picking out the wrong guy. I always go after the guy that is just an asshole. And so remember, I told you there was a time that I didn't like myself, and I had to go through a lot of work. I had to do a lot of work, a lot of spiritual work, and a lot of other emotional things I had to let go of. So a lot of beliefs, thoughts, habits that I had become comfortable with. We get into a comfort zone and we don't want to get out of that comfort zone. So when you see the Chariot card, it is your spirit guides. There's usually a light, some sort of a light in the card. And your spirit guides are have got these horses, or you're the one that's got the horse, and the light is your spirit guide, and your spirit guide or your angels are trying to help you stay focused, stay on course. But that black horse, the dark horse, is veering a little bit back into temptation. So there could be a situation, I'll use myself for example. Back in the day, there was a particular guy, a couple of guys that I broke up with, or actually broke up with me, and they had not treated me well. They never physically abused me, but emotionally they were abusive. And so I didn't know how to be treated. That was all that I knew, was to be treated like that. So that was a behavior, a habit, a thought process that I was stuck in. I didn't know that there was like something much better out there for me, like real true love. And I didn't know what it was like to be with somebody that like would really truly love me for who I am and appreciate me. So there was a time in my life, had any of those men tried to come back into my life, I would have taken them. I would have taken them back. So as an example, if you were reading for somebody, if you're reading for me and you saw that, the black horse is going back, it's like kind of turning, it would be like you'd be saying to me, well, Lisa, you're going this way, you're doing really good, but there's some temptation, there's a gentleman calling, and that maybe you were with before that wasn't good for you, and you're being tempted to go back into that place because that's where it was a comfort zone. So that's what the Chariot is all about. It's like riding the chariot, the golden chariot, to the place where you're supposed to be, staying on the right path. And when you see that horse, especially the white horse and that light, it's your spirit guides trying to take you to where it leads you on the right path, keeping you straight. But yet there's always that temptation to maybe go back to that where you felt most comfortable. Maybe somebody's lost a lot of weight and they're feeling that maybe it would be nice to have some ice cream or cake, and then they go like they're tempted to go back onto that weekend binge to feel that comfort that they had eating that kind of food. Whatever it wasn't healthy for them. That the Chariot card is warning you to don't take that temptation, because if you do, you're going to have to learn the lesson all over again. I have somebody that I know who was with a guy for a while, and I guess he was with her for like 2 years, and he was driving her crazy. She couldn't get rid of him. Kept trying to get rid of him. I mean, she was in my place almost every day complaining about this guy. Like, she was trying so hard to get rid of him, and then she would, she said she loved him and everything, but she just couldn't live with him anymore. It was just over. And some of the things that he was doing, I mean, if he would have been here at me, He would have been on his ass in a New York minute, I'll tell you what. But anyway, after 6 months or whatever, she finally got rid of him. Finally. I was so happy for her. She changed the locks on her door. She blocked him on everything except email. She removed him from Facebook and everything. She blocked him on a phone and all that. She didn't block the email. When she told me that, I thought, oh boy. And sure enough, within a month's time, she sent him an email explaining her heart to him. And I just thought, well, it's just a matter of time, because she wasn't ready. She wasn't really ready to let go. And he was, next thing I know, they're starting to text each other back and forth. They're talking on the phone. This is after having him out of the house, out of her place, for about 6 months. And guess what? He's living with her again. So, and when she told me that he was staying with her for a little while, I was like, I can't do that. I can't talk. I have to go. That's what I told her. I said, I have to go. I can't stay here. Because some people, they are not ready. It's like they don't know any better. And when we do that, when we're on that path and we're doing really good, but we're guided by our temptation to go back, that's an indication. And you telling the universe, I just haven't learned my lesson yet. And no, you haven't. The woman that I'm telling you about, no, she hasn't learned yet. It's okay. You know, it's okay. It just means that you haven't learned and you're not ready yet for the next venture in your life, because you still got to go back and learn that lesson. But I'm going to tell you something. If you don't learn the lesson, if you don't stay on that track and you take back into that temptation, the universe is going to let that happen so many times. And then finally, the universe is going to say, well, I gave you many opportunities to get out of this situation, but you kept going back into it. So I tried to help you, to give you the opportunity, make it easy for you, get out of it on your own terms, your own way. You didn't listen, so we're going to do it my way. And we're going to get to that when we get to the Tower card, where I'm going to tell you something. You don't want the Tower card, okay? And you can tell your clients this. They better fucking listen. If the Chariot card, if they're getting ready to go back into temptation, they don't want to do that, because each time you have to learn that lesson gets harder and harder. I mean, it just beats you up more and more until one day it just beats you up so damn much that you have no choice but to give it up. So, anyway, that's what that card means. So it's a harsh card, but it can also be a good one. And I also want to talk to you and I don't know if I mentioned it in any of the other lessons that I've done so far with you, but I'm looking at these cards, explaining to you what they mean, like if they're upright. We're going to go over later in the lessons on how to read them in reverse. Now, if you ever go to a tarot reader and the cards are in reverse and they won't read them, because I know some tarot readers, they don't feel comfortable reading them in reverse. Well, that's not your tarot reader. You want somebody that will read it exactly how it's laid out. So I will teach you how to read in reverse. So the next card is the Strength card. This card, well, in the Rider-Waite and most all other cards, it's a lion. But here we have a deer. The deer signifies strength as well. But she's holding on, and she's in a forest. The Strength card relates to the sign, the Leo, which is the lion, who is like the king of the jungle. They are known to be the most powerful of the jungle. But the Strength card is, yes, you have learned a lot, you've come a long way, and it has strengthened you. What's the old saying? What doesn't kill you will make you stronger. And yes, this is what this card is representing, is that you've got the power and the strength to continue on. It may seem like you're in, like darkness, or you feel like you're in darkness, but you have more power and strength than you know. And you just need to keep going, because you've got a lot of power behind you. So the next card is going to be the Hermit card. This card, and again, Alice in Wonderland, they're a little different. You see Alice waving goodbye to this knight in shining armor kind of man on a horse. He's going away. In the Rider-Waite, it almost looks like Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, his how he depicts the old man up on the hill alone with his rod and his light from the Stairway to Heaven, if any of you are familiar with that. But the hermit is one that is going to find enlightenment. They are becoming a recluse. They have chosen to pull away and study and go inward and find themselves, find the enlightenment that they need to step into their empowerment. They may read books on spirituality, do meditation. One of the cards that I have, that my first original tarot deck, it isn't like the old man, and he's balancing himself above water on these stones, and the stones are like in an arch shape over the water, and he's got a staff, and the top of the staff is a snake's head, and of course he's got his lantern. And so he's the hermit. They're turning themselves, they're going inward. They're removing themselves away from people, places, and things, so that they can go learn and be enlightened and find balance, truth, enlightenment in their lives. And that's what the hermit is about. So the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is the karmic card. So it's, when I look at the Wheel of Fortune, I'm looking at, let me see if I can find it here. The hermit, okay. What goes around comes around. The wheel is always turning to find balance in the alchemy of life. So it's turning. It's always turning. And like when we come into this world, we come in to remove a lot of the karmic energies that we came into this world with. Like we created karma for ourselves in a past life, and now when we're in this lifetime, we have lessons and things that we need to learn so that we can release that karmic energy, things that we may have done or created, and in this lifetime it's now a time of working out that karmic energy. So the wheel is always turning, and you're letting go of things that you no longer need. And that's just part of a journey of life, you know, as you keep recycling back onto this planet. So you're letting go, you're constantly letting go. And when I see the Wheel of Fortune, I see, especially when it's upright, it's telling me that yes, things are moving very rapidly for you, that you're doing very well. And you're letting go of a lot of stuff. You're working out that karmic energy that you no longer need anymore. So that's what that card means. So I'm going to end right now. One, because I have to go fix dinner, but we're at 20 minutes. So 20 minutes and 40 seconds. So we will finish up the rest of the major arcanas in the next lesson. So I will see you there. Bye-bye.